Lynn Smith. Mandolin, you want to go ahead and tell us who you are and your story?
Yeah, so I'm Amanda. I live in Southern California with my husband and three children. I have a little girl, Lyndon, who is 7, and then a little boy, Ledger, who's 6, and then I have a little boy who is like 14 months named Pearson. And in July of this last year, so July 2019, my daughter was diagnosed with stage 3 lymphoma, and not like a non-Hodgkin's kind. And she, right after she was diagnosed, we kind of went through all the testing and found out what stage it was and like what was going on. So she had like a little spot on her back. And then we took her in to kind of get that checked. And then they biopsied it, found out that it was cancer. And then we started doing PET scans and CTs and bone marrow biopsies and found out that she also had 2 tumors in her chest as well. And then we started treatment the end of July, and she would go in for um, she had 6 cycles, so she would go in the hospital and we'd be admitted for 5 to 6 days, go home for 2 weeks, try and recover and get her numbers back up so that she could turn around and get put back in the hospital again and go through treatment again for another week or so. And so we did that 6 times, and we finished treatment right before Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving. And then she got all of her final scans. And on December 13th, we found out that she was in full remission and cancer free. And so now she's back at school and just trying to live normal life. Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm glad, everything worked out. How was it? Must have been such a roller coaster going through all the hospital and all the treatments and everything like that. That had to have been such a crazy journey right there.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was, you're in there and you're watching your daughter go through terrible things and just not feeling like herself and losing her hair. And there were it, it's kind of a roller coaster because there are so many good things that came from it. Like, just you see the goodness in the world and you just feel like, wow, the world is full of such good people. But at the same time, it's just is you're going through something so terrible, and so you've got some high highs and some low lows, and you're just wondering, is she going to survive? Is she going to make it? And one day she asked us, like, what if I'm not a survivor? And that was just like, to have your 7-year-old daughter ask you, what if I'm not a survivor? That was just like heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything you can think of that you would tell any parents that maybe just found out that kind of helped you get through?
Yeah, it's, I think just holding on to the faith and hope, and it's a roller coaster. And I'm religious, and so, just being able to have that was huge for me. Um, but just depending on other people, I think was huge. And um, I basically had this, like, came to this realization that if somebody was going to offer help, I was going to accept it. And that helped me so much because, one, it helped me see the goodness in people, and it allowed them the opportunity to serve, which, when you serve someone, that makes you feel good, and so then they're feeling better. But at the same time, it was just like, it helped us in so many ways. We had people bring meals, we had people bring gift baskets, we had someone come and decorate her room, both at the hospital and then at home. Somebody completely remodeled her entire bedroom. And just, we had, like, someone hung Christmas lights up for us at Christmas time. The neighborhood let her go trick or treating at their house right before Halloween because she was going to be in the hospital during Halloween. So just any opportunity that somebody wanted to serve, I let them, and it blessed us and it blessed them.
Oh, that's such, I don't know, sometimes we get a little, I think, self conscious, but that is such a good idea. Just letting the world help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I'm so glad everybody pulled together and did such special stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, what about um, so what else do you do? Like, are you a stay-at-home mom?
So yes, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I've always done a little something on the side. So I do eyelash extensions. So I had I kind of quit doing that while she was in treatment,
Yeah.
and so just I just couldn't. Um, so I've done that, and I just started up again now that she's back at school. So I'm doing that again. And right now I'm working on starting a nonprofit organization. So that's taking up quite a bit of time, but that's been great. And then while she was in treatment, we started making bracelets and selling bracelets for pediatric cancer research, and all the money that we raised went to the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation to help find better treatments and cures for kids with cancer. So we did that while she was in treatment.
Oh, that's awesome. Can that be found on your Instagram or?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on my Instagram. Right now we put a pause on orders because I have this retreat coming up that I'm doing for moms of kids with cancer. That's tomorrow, and then my husband and I are going to Hawaii just to kind of reset. And
Yes.
so once we get back, we'll open orders back up for that. So that'll be probably be the end of February, um, but in 6 months we raised $50,000 for pediatric cancer research. So it's
Oh,
been
that's
just amazing
awesome.
to see the support of people all around the world, really. So it was really great.
Yeah, that's great. Um, your other kids, how I know it's always like a tough thought too is how they handled it because I know when my sister was going through it, like my parents did a lot of things to help me kind of through it, and I don't know how did they handle it. Like I don't remember too much from it, but
Yeah. I was really concerned about that. That was something I was really concerned about. And so
yeah,
my son had just started kindergarten, and I reached out to the school and kind of let him know what was going on. And they sent like a counselor to kind of talk to him, and so the school counselor talked to him a little bit, but he handled it pretty well. He was really sad about her losing her hair because he didn't want anyone to make fun of her,
yeah,
and he just was really caring about that. But and she got a lot of attention during that time, and she got a lot of gift bags and packages mailed to us, and people would come by, and she got a lot of attention during that time.
yeah,
And I think that did affect him a little bit, where sometimes he would act out a little, and because he was trying to get attention because
yeah,
he wasn't receiving it. And so we would just, my husband and I would make a huge effort to make sure that any time that we could get with him and spend with him, that we did. And when family would come to stay, we would just say, make sure that you, while we were in the hospital to stay with him, just make sure you give him as much attention as possible. The other one, he's so little, he was 7 months when she was diagnosed. So
hmm
I think that whole thing, it was harder on me than it was on him because I was missing out on his baby phase,
yeah,
so much of it. And but he's learned to be very good with strangers and with other people, and he's just such a good baby and so friendly that um I can leave him with someone and he doesn't freak out because he was kind of used to that for a while. And so him, he'll never
right.
remember it. But I think that my son will, and my other son, and he handled it like a champ. He still did well in school, and you know it, we expected worse than it was. So,
That's
but
amazing.
that's not everybody though. So I know that that's like, you know,
Yeah,
I know that that was a really lucky.
yeah. No, I believe you guys did a good job, and that's awesome that he handled it so well and was able to be there.
Yeah.
Um, is there any kind of tricks that you use for yourself to kind of like recenter and refocus? Because I know sometimes it can be hectic as a mom alone, but let alone a mom that has, a child that was sick, sometimes
Oh, it froze. It's frozen. Okay, I can hear you now.
okay.
So
Is there
you had said, was there any tricks? I'm sorry.
Yes, is there any tricks that you use to kind of like reset yourself? Um, you know, it can be hard being a parent, let alone, but a parent, is somebody that's sick. I know, we push through so many times, to take care of our children. We do whatever is needed, but sometimes, you kind of gotta reset. Is there any tricks that you use to reset?
So I feel like some things that helped me was making sure that I put myself as a priority still and didn't completely lose myself. I would go to a fitness class in the morning, and that helped me a ton. I didn't do it every day, but the days that I did it, it was really good to just kind of like sweat it out and get the feelings out, and just to not think about it for a little bit, or going to a yoga class and things like that. Um, like I said, I'm religious, so I prayed a lot, and I feel like that helped me a lot. Um, and I think just talking to other moms that were in similar situations, I feel like if I would talk to some of my friends who hadn't gone through it or hadn't gone through something hard with their child, they had a really hard time relating. So they would just try and make it better, or try and say, she'll be fine, don't worry about it,
Yeah.
and that didn't help. And so when I would talk to another mom who had been through it and kind of explained different things that I was feeling or going through, and they could just say, I know. And they didn't try and make it better, and they didn't try and make me feel better and try and make it seem like everything would be fine. They just understood. And so I think finding a community of people that have been through a similar circumstance is huge, because they can relate and they can help you understand that it's okay to have the feelings that you're feeling, just kind of validate you a little bit. But
Yeah, that's definitely nice you had that, and that's good. Is there a time in your life when you felt most empowered as a woman, and just like a story, something that happened, something you did that just made you feel amazing?
um I've been really open with our journey and posting updates and everything on social media. It was really therapeutic for me in the beginning, and even now, still, as treatment's over, but we're still in this worry and fear. Is it going to come back? Is she going to get? Is she going to relapse? Is she going to get cancer from the chemo? Is she going to have late effects? Um, and kind of all of that that goes along with it. And so I think just being open with our journey, and then right now I'm working this nonprofit organization that I'm working on creating is to help moms of kids with cancer, because there's so much out there for the children, which is amazing, and there should be so much out there for these kids going through it, but there's just not enough for the moms. And I feel that like the moms are the ones that carry so much of it, because they're trying to be there for the child going through it. They're trying to be strong for them. They're trying to be there for the other children. They're still trying to be there for their spouse and hold it all together for themselves. And, there's just not enough support for them, and not enough available to them to help them keep it together. And I've talked to so many of these moms that are dealing with anxieties. They have like physical effects, like whether they have ulcers or shingles or whatever they're getting from all the stress. There was a point where I was throwing up almost every day from stress. And there just needs to be more for these women to kind of help them be able to go through this and deal with this. So I think kind of the project that I've been working on with that has really made me feel empowered and made me feel like good, like I'm contributing to the world in a good way. you know.
Absolutely. That's really amazing that you're putting that together. And moms do need a lot more support, I think, especially moms going through something like that. Like, I can't even imagine, and my mom and dad were so strong and amazing through all that they went through with my sister. I don't even remember even them upset, like thinking back as a child. I just remember them taking care of her and taking care of us, and it just has to be an absolutely stressful time. Like, I'm glad you're doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Any words of advice for the younger generations? Um, Anything you would pass down to other moms?
I think for a long time I felt like this would never happen to me. You just think like, oh my gosh, that would never happen to me. And, I think just being vigilant on if something comes up with your child and you aren't sure and you're worried, you're your child's advocate. And when we first took her into the doctor, they thought that she had an infected hair follicle and put her on an antibiotic. And had I not kept pushing and not kept taking her in, the tumors in her chest would have just kept growing and growing until we thought she had pneumonia or something and was like coughing up blood or whatever, and we caught it pretty early. It was stage 3, but at the same time, her tumors were still pretty small. And so I think it's just, I would definitely say if you're worried about something or concerned about something, you have to advocate for your child, and you have to be the one to keep pushing until you get the answers that you need.
Absolutely. Those mom instincts are so important. Like, you know, I think sometimes we can feel stuff and know stuff, that others don't. It's absolutely important. Is there any women in your life that empowered you that um, you look to for inspiration or strength?
Yeah, I think I found I did I did meet, I say meet, but a lot of them I haven't actually met in person. Just other moms that were going through similar things through social media, and I've gained these connections with them and these relationships with them, and just seeing how that they were handling it, and I feel like that helped me a lot. And there were a few moms just nearby that I talked to that had maybe their child had a heart problem, or they were in the NICU, or they went through a similar thing with their child where their like life was threatened, and these women just hearing how they got through it, and their child is fine now, or maybe their child isn't fine now, but just that you can have the strength and to be able to kind of persevere through it.
Yes, the others can definitely help so much. That's one of the reasons that I'm, putting this out here is there's so many of us, and maybe some don't know how to connect, or maybe some are, you know, shy or don't know where to go, and we can all just listen to each other's stories and, eventually build a network and just be there for our sisters and help. It's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there an inspirational quote that you use during hard times that you kind of say to yourself?
you know um I guess it wasn't necessarily a quote, but it was a scripture, and it was Isaiah 41:10, and I actually printed it out, and it's sitting in my living room, and it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Um, Be not dismayed, for I am thy God, and I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." And I just feel like that really, it was interesting because there was a day where someone sent me that scripture. And then later that day, we sang that song at church, sang a song at church that had that same scripture in it. And 2 days later, somebody else sent me that scripture. And it was just like, okay, I just felt like I've got this and I'm not alone. And so that definitely was something that kind of carried me through this.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you for being on my show, and we will talk to you again sometime soon. Um, all right. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you so much.